All right, we're live. Podcast number 7, Manic Vandals. I'm the host of this podcast, uh, Dave, aka Church. We have a little bit of a mix up here today. Keith is unavailable, and we were sort of talking anyway, and we figured uh, it's a little tricky to get all three of us in the same room consistently. So we decided we're just gonna do a 2-man crew today. Uh, he will be back, so this isn't some permanent thing by any means. But I am joined today by my bro, aka Abstract Blocks, aka Mike.
Yeah, with him as always is Garth.
Yeah,
I guess.
I guess.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
yeah. So unfortunately, everybody on YouTube is gonna have to stare at my giant fucking head for however long this lasts.
No,
Uh,
it's good.
yeah. Not really, but that's fine. All right. So, today the main topics of discussion are going to be the MCQ recap. Uh, this was the first limited one, and since we have our resident limited expert, it was of
Yeah, supposedly.
Nah, well, we'll get into it in a second. And then we also, depending on time, we'll go into. I did my first MTG Melee tournament, which it's not, it's much different than the MCQ just in terms of how to actually get into it. But, uh, yeah, what we can talk about that at the end if there's a time available. And before we start, I would just once again like to beg anybody listening to either uh check out our Discord. I don't know, send me something on Twitter. Keith is running the TikTok. Really, just send us anything to know that somebody is listening. I mean, we do have listeners supposedly. I mean, we do have listeners, but it would just give us a nice little boost of confidence knowing you guys are there listening and whatever, tell us what we got wrong, what we got right, if we're idiots, if we should just shut the fuck up. Pretty much anything on your mind, we would like to hear about it. So wherever you're listening, we have all of our social shit in the in the description. So yeah, reach out, good or bad. We'll love it. So yeah, that's out of the way. Let's get into it. So the MCQ, Mike was in it, and how'd it go?
I failed miserably. It went as bad as it could have gone. I went 0-3, but it was an 0-3 where I knew I was going to go 0-3. So, yeah, the draft. I was red green. My pick one pack one was a Howl Pack Shaman. So like that could have been worse, obviously. But I was aiming, obviously, with a pick one pack one like that. I was, and I know it's just the first pick, and that doesn't mean much. But I had the long range intent of wanting to be red green. But the rest of pack one was just very weak overall. Like every pack like didn't have cards that I was really excited to be picking anyway. So I kind of ended up um in pack one just leaning green and then doing the whole like hoping for a bomb in pack two type deal. And it's weird, like I know a lot of people say it a lot of the time. Um but I think I actually kind of drafted scared also because I was kind of putting a lot into this event because it was the first limited MCQ. And honestly, we've qualified for this like many times. I'd say in any given month where I was taking Magic seriously, I think I've gotten into Mythic and I've gotten into the top 1200 or whatever the cutoff point was every time except for the first month of Theros. That was the only month I had ever like tried and actually didn't get it. So I've been in these many times, but this was the first limited one, so I was really hoping to make it, but and not even make it. I was really hoping just to have like a good day one. Like I just wanted to sort of feel like, oh, like this is limited, this is what I play, and like it feels like I actually like sort of justified my capabilities as a limited player in this championship qualifier. Obviously, there's a lot of streamers, there's a lot of pro players that play in these, and they also don't get 7 wins in day one. I mean, let alone day two. But I did not want to have a draft where I was drafting just seeing, just going into the games knowing I don't have a chance. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. Going back to the drafting scared thing, looking at the draft, because, Magic's all about like self-critique, especially in limited because every decision is like its own universe. I definitely was like trying to force red green way too hard. I did have a couple of good pieces going into pack 2, like why I would want to have been red still as my second color. But looking at this, I mean, this is almost egregious. So, like my pick 2 pack 1 was I had Geralf as my rare. See, I had no blue, and looking at my cards, I mean, I didn't really have anything all that exciting in any of my other colors. I had a Runebound Wolf in red, and that was it. But I took Wolf Strike over it, which I think sort of sums up me having drafted scared. Pick 2, pack 2 was another Wolf Strike, so I kind of felt like I was justified in the pick. But and then actually Flame Blessed Bull was pick 2, pack 3, so I actually felt like I made the correct decisions. But as the draft continued, it was Sultai that was they were the open colors, and I just I even had a Hero's Downfall pick 2, pack 7. And I still, in my head, I was still leaning red green. Yeah. It's something I'll learn from, I guess. I am very upset because going into this event, I was on a streak of going 30-6 in best of 3. So like I was actually playing at like my peak. I did one draft after that where I had like a lot of bad variants where I went 1-2. So I guess that would have put me at 31-8.
Well,
But
so if you think you did this not in the MCQ, do you think you would have do you definitely think you would have done it like differently?
I would say the easy answer is yes. Because yeah, putting a glimpse. See, like at the end of the draft, I ended up with a creepy puppeteer. Red was open pack 3, so I did sort of get paid off, but I just didn't have a lot of removal, and I didn't have enough high-powered cards. I had a creepy puppeteer, I had a Child of the Pack, I had Infestation Expert, I had Howlpack Piper, I had a Flame Blessed Bolt, 2 Wolf Strikes. So I mean, the deck wasn't awful, but I knew for this type of event it was not strong enough. Just to get that out of the way. Because sorry, I am going to answer your question. Red green, you need card draw or you need some ways to generate card advantage, and all my best red green decks I've always had that. Child of the Pack is the closest thing I would consider to having that. Like I had no Spore Crawlers, I had no Ancestral Angers. I did have a Ceremonial Knife, but that's pretty slow, even if it's a necessity to run sometimes. I tried to just make like it was a good curved aggro deck where I was just hoping to curve out. But I mean, it was way too easy for me to get stonewalled. I had no massive mites. I didn't see any massive mites or witches webs. So it was just kind of upsetting. Um, Regarding the if I would have drafted differently, um, the in one word, the answer is yes, because when I'm just doing regular drafts, um, like, look, I know I'm a good limited player. I'm not a great limited player. There's certain holes, like blatant holes, that I have in my repertoire that like higher level players don't have. Like, I don't actually know I'm kind of saying this knowing that the easy answer is to learn it yesterday. Um, I don't really know a lot of the math when it comes to mana bases and playing cards on a certain turn with a certain type of mana base. Um, so like one of my flaws is I kind of avoid taking a third color card with the intent of playing it. Meaning, like, obviously there's situations where like you take a bomb card and you're like, oh, I'm going to splash this, and I know I need to probably have 3 sources to run it safely. If it's an extremely strong card like Helena and Elena, for example, like you might run it with only 2 sources, like you might take a risk, that type of thing. But like, I'm kind of afraid of like actively taking sort of like pieces type cards, like, maybe a card draw spell or like a graveyard retrieval spell, that like better players, they know how to create a deck, like building a deck. And there's certain flaws that I have where it makes me scared to draft that way. So like, I try not to build dirtily decks, even if like the cards are actually getting passed to me that like sort of dictate, oh, this is really your best option, because I feel more comfortable playing like more conventional styled decks. So I'm not saying that when I actually have those cards and I play the games, like I don't understand how to use them or win. I probably do misplay a little more often with decks like that because I'm not thinking of all of the pathways to a victory. I still sort of, um, I'm still very like board state dependent on what the current situation is. Like, if it's like chess, I can think like 2 or 3 steps ahead, but I'm probably not as good at consistently thinking 4, 5, 6 steps ahead type thing. So like, you know, sometimes decks that don't have a lot of interaction kind of worry me, but there's a lot of players that don't really care about having interaction because they know how to win with the cards that they have. Like, sometimes where like it doesn't appear as though like a certain card's a win condition or something. So anyways, yes, I think the answer is I probably would have ended up in a different color pair in this, because I think I was trying to force like a 5-win deck, I think is the best way of putting it. And I ended up with a 0-win deck. So it actually cost me the worst. So not only was like my first pack weak, that gave me no direction, um, but I doubled down on forcing a color that I didn't even have. Like, I didn't even really have red at that point yet. Um, so I should have ended up in like a weird like Sultai mid-range deck that like sort of wanted to grind out wins. Um, you know, if we're taking a look at pick one, pack one, it was Howlpack Piper versus Flame Blessed Bolt is really the only 2 contenders here. I'd say the third best card is Whispering Wizard. Fourth best is probably tied Archghoul and Flourishing Hunter, and then maybe Kindly Ancestor are kind of like all like, third level picks, but they're like not. You're not going to take that. You're not going to take those over Howlpack Piper. I could see a universe where somebody likes Whispering Wizard or Bolt over Howlpack Piper. Pick one, pack two. The options here was Sigarda's Imprisonment, Whispering Wizard number again, Panic Bystander. And then the third level cards I'd say were Blood Petal Celebrant, Witness the Future, and Desperate Farmer, and Gluttonous Guest. So I took Sigarda's Imprisonment. Pick one, pack three. It was a dual land, Distracting Geist, Smart Card Retribution, Apprentice Sharpshooter, and that's kind of it. So I took the Sharpshooter. Pick one, pack four. Crawling Infestation, Apprentice Sharpshooter again, Grisly Ritual, Lantern Bearer, Voldaire and Epicure, Scattered Thoughts, or Evolving Wilds. So I took the Evolving Wilds. I was like trying to stay open, I guess, see if I could have had this pick back. I was very close to taking Lantern Bearer, and I probably should have. Pick one, pack five. Innocent Traveler, Scattered Thoughts, Blood Fountain, or Weaver of Blossoms. So obviously I took Weaver of Blossoms there. So I'm just going through the picks really quick. I don't really think I didn't really start screwing up until pack two. I really screwed up pack two. Pick one, pack six was Runebound Wolf over Apprentice Sharpshooter, Gluttonous Guest, and Repository Scab. So Runebound Wolf was like sort of like the card that I was like hoping to get in that type of pack. Pick one, pack seven. Again, I took Sporeback Wolf because it's a 2-drop and it was green. I took it over really only Innocent Traveler in here. Pick one, pack eight. It was Apprentice Sharpshooter, Retrieve, Courier Bat, Snarling Wolf. I took the Snarling Wolf because it was a wolf again, and it's another card that's decent on curve. And if you're in red-green, which is what I was hoping to be, 1-drops actually aren't bad. Pick one, pack nine. Aim for the Head, Griff Rider, which is what I took. Sell Off, Entomber, Serpentine Ambush. I mean, I took the Griff Rider because I had Sigarda's Imprisonment. I really didn't want to end up green-white at all costs, but, you know, that was, in my opinion, the best card of the pack. Pick one, pick 10 was Cradle of Safety. There's a bunch of blue cards. Blue was definitely, even if these cards are weak, it was kind of open. So Cradle of Safety, Gift of Fangs, and the Festivities. I took Gift of Fangs because that's like the only like main deckable card. Like, you know, as it was Cradle of Safety, obviously, but you don't want to move into a color for Cradle of Safety. Not over Gift of Fangs, at least. Pick one, pack 11 was Rural Recruit over Pyre Spawn, Serpentine Ambush, Unholy Officiant. Pick one, pack 12, Crawling Infestation. I just took that as like a playable in green over Mind Leech Ghoul and Unholy Officiant. You know, maybe I should have taken the Mind Leech Ghoul there because Crawling Infestation, it's not really playable unless you're blue-green, like actively want to play it at least. You know, okay, so then the next two cards were Aim for the Head and then Unhallowed Phalanx. So I had an Unhallowed Phalanx, and actually that might come into play later in this draft. But yeah, I really screwed up pack 2, pick 1 because I didn't really have anything. Pack 2, pick 1. So you guys, so everybody knows my cards now. I mean, my main deck at that moment was the notable cards there were Howlpack Piper, Weaver of Blossoms. I have an Apprentice Sharpshooter, Rural Recruit, Evolving Wilds, Runebound Wolf, Sigarda's Imprisonment, Gift of Fangs. So Geralf is sitting there, and I didn't really have like any sort of card that really wants me to be in any other color other than Runebound Wolf, sort of like making me lean of any color pair to want to be red-green. But I really wasn't red-green, but in my head I was red-green. So I actually took Wolf Strike over a Geralf. There were a lot of other great cards in this pack too. So it was Geralf, Diver Scab, Foreboding Statue, Witness the Future, Apprentice Sharpshooter, Blood Fountain, Courier Bat, Cradle of Safety, Flourishing Hunter, Kindly Ancestor, Sporeback Wolf, Undying Malice, Voldaire and Epicure, and Wolf Strike. That's actually like that's one of the strongest packs I think I've seen in a while. Like every single one of those cards is a card that you actively want to play if like you're in like a deck for it. There's no real like bad card in there. I should have obviously taken Geralf there, and I think that would have changed the draft a little bit. Pick 2, pack 2. Change of Fortune was the rare, so it was terrible. There was another Blood Fountain, another Crawling Infestation. There's a Chill from the Grave, Crushing Canopy, Heron of Hope, Unhallowed Phalanx, Lacerate Flesh, and Wolf Strike. So, you know, I took the Wolf Strike there again. I almost felt like I paid myself off not taking Geralf there. And then pick 2, pack 3. I took Flame Blessed Bolt, but the other cards in there were Binding Geist, there's a Flourishing Hunter, there's a Wedding Invitation, and hilariously, there's a Groom's Finery and a Bride's Gown. But yeah, so I was like, oh, Flame Blessed Bolt got there, pack 2, pick 3. The rare was taken and a common was taken, and it was a white common. So, I felt pretty good about the color pair that I was going into here. But here's where the packs, pick 2, pack 4, I think really sums up my mistakes here. So, all 3 of the uncommons have black in them. So it was Ancient Lumberknot, it was Catapult Fodder, and Edgar's Awakening. Now, all 3 of those cards are pretty good to certain degrees. Obviously, the first 2 are better than Edgar's Awakening, but certain decks really want Edgar's Awakening. I took Sure Strike. And I took Sure Strike over Binding Geist, Lightning Wolf, and Cradle of Safety. I mean, I was drafting with the intent of being an aggro red-green deck, and I know I actively wanted combat tricks if I didn't have burn spells. So I was really tripling down on red-green. So I didn't really have a lot of cards that cared about toughness. At that point, I had one Apprentice Sharpshooter, and that was the only creature that I had, other than, well, a Sporeback Wolf. On your turn, it's the toughness pump, so it was kind of a nice pump there, or a nice like reason to take Catapult Fodder. Ancient Lumberknot, but is like the same exact situation. Honestly, I didn't know which one is really better in red-green, like if you're taking the first one of either or. I did have an Unhallowed Phalanx already, so maybe I should have sort of like leaned into that synergy a little bit. But I took Sure Strike because I figured I was trying to build a safer thing. I had just taken Flame Blessed Bolt, so I thought I was going to get there. Pack 2, pick 5, the Patchwork Crawler's in there. Oakshade Stalker, which is what I took because it's a werewolf and it's green. Took that over Belligerent Guest, Desperate Farmer, Sporeback Wolf, Scattered Thoughts. Here's like another like sort of embarrassing pick when I look at it. I mean, just like embarrassing. So remember, I could have had Geralf, and I could have either had Ancient Lumberknot or Catapult Fodder. There's a Gutter Skulker in here. There's an Undead Butler. There's a Blood Fountain, a Gluttonous Guest, a Skywarp Scab, which isn't much. I took Bramble Armor. I took Bramble Armor over all those because I was really trying to go for the aggro red-green thing. Pick 2, pack 7. I mean, geez. Pick 2, pack 7. Hero's Downfall's in there. It's pick 2, pack 7. Persistent Specimen. There's Steelclad Spirit. There's a Wretched Throng, and there's a Evolving Wilds. So I took Hero's Downfall there. So like, oh, maybe I'll end up at black-green now. Pick 2, pack 8. There's a red-green dual land. I mean, black-green dual land. There's a Voldaren, Epicure, Rotar Gargantua, Apprentice Sharpshooter. I took the Sharpshooter there. Pick 2, pack 9. So Witness the Future Wield, Apprentice Sharpshooter Wield, Sporeback Wolf Wield, Courier Bat Wield, Cradle of Safety, Undying Mouse. I took Sporeback Wolf. Unhallowed Phalanx, the second one. I could have had 2, and I could have either had an Ancient Lumberknot or a Catapult Fodder, which would have made those kind of playable. One of them, at least. Maybe I wouldn't have played both. Ceremonial Knife, Lightning Wolf, and then I won't go through pick 3 pack, the pack 3, just because I kind of got paid off in red cards in this pack, so like the deck actually kind of came together. It was Ascended Pack Leader, Runebound Wolf, Flame Blessed Bolt, pick 3, pack 1. Infestation Expert was pick 3, pack 2 over Runebound Wolf and Hookhand Mariner. Creepy Puppeteer, pick 3, pack 3. Child of the Pack, pick 3, pack 4. Sporeback Wolf, Spike Ripsaw, Flourishing Hunter over Ridge Wolf, Fearful Villager, Starling Wolf, Royal Recruit, Starling Wolf, Honored Heirloom, Grolnock. So I mean, honestly, I was, I ended up sort of getting there, but it wasn't powerful enough. I knew it wasn't. Um, you know, it's fine. I kind of just went through the whole thing, but you guys can see I made some very crucial picks forcing a color. Like I took Bramble Armor over good cards and other colors, and I took a Sure Strike over like good cards and other colors, and I didn't take Geralf. And not taking Geralf there makes that Grolnock that I saw pick 3, pack 3, pick 13. Like I could have had a Grolnock and a Geralf, sort of as just like high-powered cards to be splashing. I really just I drafted scared. So there's your long-range answer. Did I draft scared? Yes, I did. So I have a lot of regrets. There's a lot to learn. Obviously, a lot of these people streaming are like, are pro level players. They've played Magic for like 20 years. I've really only played like, I'd say when I say I played seriously, I've really only played maybe 2 years total, like, spread out in between like little pockets of playing. So, I understand that I'm not like a great player, but I do have like moments of like extremely hot streaks, like, going 30-6 in a 3-day span. That's, that's 6 trophies and 6 2-in-1s. I mean, that's a pretty strong run and a sign of consistency and knowledge of the format. But yeah, I have not drafted blue-green very much in this format, and I haven't drafted blue or green-black very much in this format. And those were kind of the decks that my packs were guiding me towards, and I didn't take advantage of exploring those decks more before this thing started. So it's like it was exactly what I didn't want to have happen is exactly what happened in the draft. And maybe the reason why I'm getting past those colors is because a lot of people have the same sort of mindset about certain color pairs in this format, like kind of on like my level of being a player. Like there's probably a lot of other players that prefer not being Simic or prefer not being Dimir in this format or Golgari. So that's probably why, that sort of happened for me. I saw a lot of streamers. I mean, they were in Mardu colors, like they were red-black, they were red-white, they were black-white. So I know I was, it's fine. Sorry, I'm still trying to get over it a little bit. I mean, it went as poorly as it could have gone, but I'll be fine. Don't worry, everybody.
Well, yeah, I mean, just in like a general sense, it's not that there was a lot riding on this one, but uh, it's like mentally, it's like mentally, it was like the fucking end of a Rocky movie where you did all this like preparation and playing, and you got in, and then when you finally get to it, all of a sudden, sort of thrown a curveball on how to actually like on what to do. So yeah, I mean the only thing, and I know it's not gonna make you feel any better now, but it's like, hey, well now you're just a little more aware of what happens on game day, so to speak. So next time you'll be that much more prepared. So uh yeah. So I don't know. Give yourself a pat on the back for getting there, and you're still doing well on the
Yeah, yeah, I guess. Look, it was I was actively just trying. I think in the draft I was trying to avoid a color pair that I wasn't familiar with. Where if I would have had more preparation, obviously going on a streak of like 30-6, for example, or whatever other. I have 22 trophies in this format already. like there were certain things that I still had a little more time the night before to actually explore. Like I actually wanted my intent the night before. It didn't happen because of a time conflict. I wanted to explore the color pairs that I wasn't familiar with, and that could have been different. So I know game day's crazy, and like that's why you need to have, especially in limited, you need to like have every like tool in your gaming repertoire like solid. And like that was my biggest weakness, was I wasn't familiar with Simic decks or Golgari decks, and that's sort of what the draft was leading me towards. And because it was my one shot, I wanted to play it. I was playing it safe by forcing something, and actually it ended up backfiring. So yes, so knowing what can happen on game day, this kind of it was a teaching moment, but like the thing that bothers me is that I knew what the teaching moment was before it happened, and then that's exactly what happened. So it's a little frustrating. So next time.
Well, yeah, well, 2 years from now when they have their next limited MCQ, we'll be much happier on this episode, whenever that is. We'll be sucking on cigars and being all giggly, and we actually wouldn't be able to do the podcast on the Sunday because you'd be too busy getting 7 wins on the Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Victory is mine the next time. Yeah, I mean, not to seg you away from other things, but I did the if we're going into the decathlon, I did get 7-2 on my first try in the sealed event, so that felt pretty good. So,
Yeah.
but obviously that is a consolation prize. I was still miserable anyway.
Uh yeah, we were sort of talking about this before, but I guess the final for the decathlon is an arena cube. So do you play cube at all, or I feel like you
No,
don't really talk about it that much.
I've never done that before. I feel like I kind of like the sort of like standard, like whatever the current set is. I kind of prefer just playing those. I do watch a
Yeah.
lot of people do cubes, but and I know it's probably fun because it's like higher strength cards. But I already have enough trouble like mastering a new set. I know with a cube, because those are like generally like all your super strong like vintage quality cards where once you gain knowledge of what those cards do and how they interact with other cards. But that's a whole other universe.
Yeah.
So I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean my personal like idiot slash casual opinion of cube, it's just like it's just not worth it to even like consider trying to get into. So yeah, this whole decathlon thing, it's gonna be a hard pass for me, dog. And yeah, whatever. So but I guess you are intending on getting into it, or not really.
Well, I mean, there are a few limited based ones, and I think there's more than three. Um, you need three trophies in different events to get at least one entry into the finals. Um, and then if I think if you have 8 trophies, you get 3 entries, which is the maximum amount. So I don't know if I'll do that. It seems like the other one happening until tomorrow is the alchemy one. Like I don't even have a single alchemy card. Like I don't know if I'm going to be playing that. Um,
Right.
but like I think um
Uh
there's a well, I'm just gonna look it up right now because that'll just make it easier.
yeah, all right. Well, the 18th through the 20th, it's Alchemy or Phantom Sealed. 21st through 23rd, it's either it's Crimson Valve traditional Phantom Draft and
Yeah, I'll be.
new player decks. Uh,
Oh,
so
that's funny. I would actually probably do both those because the new player decks, that actually sounds amusing.
yeah, yeah, and like I'm sure there's one that's like much better than the other ones, but I don't. I mean, obviously, I haven't looked at those in fucking forever.
Yeah.
Uh, then there's IndyCar Rising Phantom Draft, Historic Artisan, and then Historic Singleton, Traditional Standard, and then Strixhaven Turbo Draft. Interesting. I mean, I'll give them credit. They actually uh, it's actually like unique events. It's not just like fucking standard and alchemy or what whatever like the big formats are. So that's pretty cool, but still the fact that I mean I probably wouldn't do it anyway, but the fact that the final thing is like Arena Cube, yeah, that's just that product is not for me.
Yeah, I feel like the pricing, I feel like they put it in that exact range where, like, for some people it seems very inexpensive to try these like multiple times to get them, but it's just high enough where I can see how it will deplete, especially more casual players' funds. I think they put that in that exact sweet spot. So I don't
Yeah.
know if that's good or bad. Um, but yeah, like for me at least, like I don't know if I'm gonna do all 10 of the decathlon events. I've not done alchemy. Um, I might try that one if my white weenie deck doesn't have to change too much. It looks like Luminarch Aspirant and Faceless Haven are the two cards that I have to worry about. So that's probably not that big of a cost for me to do. So I might try that one. Um, but there's enough drafting ones where I could get at least one entry and not feel too bad about it. So I might go for those just because they're drafting. So we'll see.
Yeah. Um yeah, I mean I guess it depends on what you're trying to do. Um uh so there's a turbo draft, a phantom draft starting Tuesday. So there are 3 like draft events. So if
Yeah.
you um hmm, well, I guess we'll have to follow up on this and see how this ends up. Greatness.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of these more like constructed based ones don't seem that terrible either, I suppose. Like the singleton, traditional standard best of three, um, new player decks, obviously I mentioned. Um, I don't really know much about historic artisan or historic for that matter. And I don't really know the meta for alchemy, but I mean, it kind of looks like, in theory, all 10 of these are like playable for me,
Mm.
but we'll see.
So artisan is commons and uncommons only, which is interesting.
Ooh. Yeah,
Uh
it's good
yeah, I mean
stuff.
they actually sound pretty fun, but the fact that there's a buy-in, I don't feel like getting into it. So
Right.
um so yeah, we'll see what comes out of that. Um so I guess moving on here. Uh there's a lot of alchemy talk, which we're gonna get into next time because Keith has pretty strong feelings on it. Uh, I have pretty strong feelings on it too. And without I don't want to get into it too much without him, but uh, just listen to the last podcast that we talked about it, and everything I said, just like take the opposite, and that's how I feel about it. So, um, yeah. So there's your homework for that. So I guess moving on, and we can. This isn't some like big discussion, but I feel like it is worth talking about. Uh, I did an MTG Melee tournament yesterday, and I'll just touch on that. Uh, it's sort of interesting because I mean it's like if you don't go looking for that MTG Melee thing, it's like you really don't hear about it, and I feel like no one really talks about it, but it is pretty like it is fun to do those, and they're free. Like it's like a third party site where you sign up for tournaments on Arena, and they're mostly standard. So it's like I feel like I'm sort of confused in a way why you don't hear about them more. Now having said that, they do take like absolutely forever. At least the ones I did, because it's like I don't know how many rounds it was. It was like 7 rounds, and I got to the second round, I guess, and I technically could have kept playing because I was like 1 and 2 at the time, but I just didn't feel like it because even at that point it was like 2 or 3 hours in, and there were still like many more rounds to go. So yeah, I just didn't have it in me, so I just gave that shit up. But I mean, now having said that, I mean it was like if I wasn't 1 and 2 at the time, like if I was like 3 and 0 or maybe 2 and 1, I definitely would have kept playing because I mean there's like it's free to get in, and there's cash prizes, and like it keeps it like interesting without like trying to rank up on Arena. It's just like such a grind. But these tournaments, like it's like, hey, if I'm free on a Saturday, it's like why not just sign up for it, you know? It's like a
Yeah.
tournament. You can get money out of it. Uh I mean not money technically, but it's like, like gift cards for Magic sites so you can get cards and shit. Um so yeah, I mean it's definitely something I'm going to keep in the back of my mind for in the future, like if I just want to play a ton of Magic one day, I'll just sign up for a tournament, and the worst that happens is I just play against Is It 4 times in a row, and I just lose, and I didn't really lose anything except a couple hours. So uh yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So I guess the ultimate point of that little rant there is, it's like if you're an arena player who enjoys tournaments, but you don't want to wait for an MCQ, just go on MTG Melee, and just sign up for some tournaments there. You can, I mean, from what I vaguely saw, it's like there's one every fucking day, like at least one every day, and then every Saturday and Sunday there's like, I don't know, like 2 to 4. So yeah, I mean there's tons of them, and you can just uh yeah, just sign up and get playing, win money, big prizes. I love it.
So do I.
Yeah. Um
MTG Melee.
yeah. All right. I don't know. I guess that's about it for today. You have
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I think yeah, I'll try to keep myself busy with some of these decathlon limited events. I figure I don't even know what the finals is yet. Did you say what the finals were?
like when it is or what it is.
What it is?
Oh, well, it's Arena Cube.
Oh, that's why you said that. Okay, interesting. So it is like a limited thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right.
Well, yeah, that's why I was asking if you like played it at all.
No, what is there even a cube to play? Like on here?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I randomly see it like once every like month. Uh, but
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, next time it's on there, I guess I will try to master that universe like He-Man.
hmm. Uh, yeah, I don't know. There's just too many fucking cards. I
Yeah.
mean, you would have to do. I mean, how does it even work? Is it like only rares or something, or do they just like pick? Uh,
It seems like it's not just rares, but I just scanning through these,
it
it's pretty
just
much just like good. It's all like good cards. Like I see
yeah,
Lightning Bolt, Lightning Strike, Lava Coil. Um, like strong cards, pretty much.
yeah,
Scorch Spitter. Whenever Scorch Spitter attack does 1 damage to the player or planeswalker's attacking, but that's like an elemental, so I'm sure there's like synergistic cards. Like I'll guarantee you Risen Reef is on there.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's not.
Uh,
Rem Carol. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like high powered cards. So yeah, we'll
uh,
see.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I guess the race is on to finish the Arena Decathlon.
Yep.
Uh,
Everybody get playing.
yeah,
We'll watch.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Let us know. I mean, it just from looking at streamers, it looks like they're all doing it, but I mean, they're sort of obligated to do it anyway, just because they're fucking streamers. So,
Mhm.
uh, yeah. Let us know if you're gonna be in it or not. I'm tapping out, and Mike is potentially gonna try and go for it.
All right. So actually, this is how it works. Arena Cube actually starts wait, no, that's last year. They say 2021, but I don't know if they mean 2022 because they updated it December 8th this year. So that might be a typo. No, maybe it's not. Maybe it starts January 8th, the decathlon finals.
Right.
They have the Arena Cube card list. I don't know. Maybe you just go into it cold. I mean, maybe that is how it is. Maybe you have to practice outside of it. Anyway, sorry. I didn't want to derail you.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna uh probably just gonna wrap it up. But
Yeah, wrap it up.
yeah. All right. So yeah, Decathlon, big news, Alchemy, big news. We'll see how it plays out. We will be doing another podcast in the hopefully the very near future. I know Keith's chomping at the bit to do one. So um yeah, that is podcast number 7. Until next time, we are out.
Bye, everybody. Happy holidays.